Welcome back to another part of this F1 25 My Team Career Mode. This is part number 16 today for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. This is the final episode of this first season on this game. And it honestly, really reflecting on it, feels like we've come a long way from that first race weekend at the Australian Grand Prix at the very start of this series. So much has happened in this opening season, so much. Obviously a lot to take in with the new features, the new systems of My Team 2.0, with the management, 2 drivers, R&D development, facility upgrades, and then on top of that, the AI racing has been really good. And very pleasantly taken aback and so happy it's returned to being like that after a year of just absolute pain on F1 24, of course. And at the same time, we've had an absolute madness happen in the recent episodes with AI R&D upgrading like we've never seen before in Season 1, where it has not been an easy ride for us in this first season, and we're ending the season with Alpine right up there, Williams, Haas as well, and McLaren, the team that started the whole game as the best team on paper. They're like the 3rd worst team now on this grid, which is just crazy to actually say. But yeah, it's been something. And last time out in Vegas was quite something, as we managed to get the team's best combined result of 3 and 4. But the big plaudits went to Pierre Gasly, Alpine getting a first win of the season right at the end of it, and they're going to carry this momentum not only into this last episode, but I'm sure they'll be hoping into the winter break, into Season 2. But there is an R&D regulation change, of course, so let's see if they can adapt to that, as obviously we're going to try and adapt to that. Everyone is, as we try and make the most of the time we've got left to purchase those adaptations. We've also got owner training to do, and we've got one more point to spend, basically. And now we're getting to a point where I'm really trying to debate what is the best place to spend this training point, basically. I thought the corporate side of things, we haven't paid much attention to it since that first initial purchase, so I thought let's go ahead and actually purchase something on the corporate side of things, because eventually there will be some real big benefits of delving deeper into the corporate side of things. So we'll start that off here today with one purchase on the corporate side. And apart from doing the usual activity implementations on the timeline, trying to get that last bit of fan rating we can in this before the race weekend, and the usual kind of perception, trying to boost the focus as well of Button and Tramnitz with an activity there, because I think one of you pointed out quite nicely that, or quite rightly, that after that engine failure a few episodes ago, maybe that knocked Button's focus. But I'm sure a race like Vegas last episode, that's going to really bump up the focus levels, getting another podium, 2 podiums that is for JB in this returning season in Formula 1. But this is how things are shaping up into the final race. If you missed it, Max Verstappen has wrapped up the Drivers' Championship. He is the 2025 World Champion, but Ferrari, quite amazingly, are the Constructors' Champions. Yeah, I did not think that's where this season was going to go from the first few episodes. McLaren looked so good. Red Bull looked woeful. But somehow Verstappen's come through. Red Bull came through to kind of bring upgrades back to the car to give Verstappen enough of a performance. But Ferrari ultimately did enough damage in the middle of the season to clinch their first Constructors in a long old while. Now just remains to see if into 2026, with a big regulation change, can Ferrari as a works team make use of that and try and give Leclerc a chance at his first championship, or even, dare I say, Lewis Hamilton's 8th World Championship here in this already alternate F1 universe of ours, of a universe of Haas and Williams and Alpine right up there in the R&D chart. As I've been talking about that, obviously we're pressing on with the matter at hand of adapting as many parts as we can, and we're going to go ahead and purchase another facility upgrade that will help us in that job. It's the expansion for the development on the aero side. So now, once that upgrade comes in, we can develop 3 aero parts at the same time, and that will also allow us to adapt 3 aero parts at the same time. So after this race is over, there's still a bit of time in December in the in-game timeline to do some things. So that's why I'm bothering to make that purchase even at the end of the season, because we really will need to use all of that time in December in-game to adapt as much as we can to maintain this car over the winter, over a big winter, going into 2026 Season 2. But we've got a dilemma here. Which driver should be granted extra simulator time? I went for Tramnitz because we're going to be driving as Button in this final episode of the season. We started the season driving as my man JB. We're going to end it driving as JB, but Tramnitz will benefit from that extra simulator work, I'm hoping, with maybe some more focus. The advanced tooling upgrade has come in there, you may have seen. So that is going to reduce development time of everything by 15%. So that, I'm hoping, will also apply to adaptations. But of course, these upgrades will carry forward into next year. So this will actually benefit us anyway, next season, making actual tangible upgrades. But it just so happens that right now, it's more of a benefit to us to adapt the parts. So it kind of all plays hand in hand. So I'll actually feel a lot of benefit from all of this next season. Right now, though, it's a bit more of a panic station of, I'm just worried we're going to lose too many parts on the aero side. Powertrain, not so much. I think we can definitely adapt pretty much most of the powertrain. I mean, we've got upgrades on the table for the powertrain, for goodness sake. But yeah, there you go. We've literally got the rest of the upgrades are ones I haven't even developed in the first place. So I'll just leave them on the table because I don't think we lose them. I don't think that's how it works. I think the research stays, potentially. I don't know. I might be wrong. I actually might get completely found out on that, and I'll have my world turned upside down. Maybe I should develop them at the end of the season. We'll see. We'll get into that in the pre-season episode, I think. But we've brought in that development expansion on the aero side, so 3 slots available for that. So that will be useful in the pre-season episode, in the winter break. But right now, that's all. It is time for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix in the in-game timeline. And it's time for a final race in this season's aarava Archer racing car. What a hell of a season it has been. These men and women have been working hard. We've done some great work. It's been a tough old end to the season where other rivals, midfield rivals, have come back at us. But we'll give it our all to try and see if we can regain that 6th place in the Constructors' Championship. Let's go to Abu Dhabi.
Welcome along, everybody. It's the fastest day of the week. Qualifying Saturday, and we're here in Abu Dhabi.
Final qualifying outing in Season 1, driving as Button. Whether we continue with JB or not, well, you may have noticed I've not actually shown you guys any of the contract negotiations. I'm going to keep that a little secret until the pre-season to keep you guessing on what the future of this team is as we get into the racing business and focus on the task at hand. And right now, that's just trying to qualify into Q2. And we do so with Doohan now topping the session, showing that Alpine have some genuine pace. But, oh, that's a bit of a shock. Last race's race winner, Gasly, is knocked out. So Doohan does show the pace of the Alpine. Gasly's had a mare. He's knocked out in Q1. Just showing, even though you've got the car, nothing's guaranteed, especially on this game, it would seem. And in this very competitive season, in my particular save, as we get up into P7 with the first flyer in Q2. The second flyer needs to be a bit better, though, because we're on the cusp. Down to P9, we've got Hamilton behind, Lando in P11. We know the McLaren, even though it's been pretty poor in a race condition as of late, it's still got a good 1 lap pace, so we do need to make this better. It's not, though. We go slower, but I, by the skin of my teeth, make it through into the top 10 shootout. Just about at the expense of Lewis Hamilton. Doohan's up there for Alpine. Both Williams are through. That's not ideal. Tramnitz knocked down P16. It looks like he had a woeful time, maybe with traffic or maybe burned up all his tyres in Q1. I don't know. I mean, we are lucky to make it through into the top 10. And I wasn't expecting much for the top 10 shootout because the pace ultimately didn't seem to be there in Q2 and others a lot quicker. Williams looking quite racy, I must say. Haas as well with Ocon. Doohan, of course, doing the job for Alpine where Gasly couldn't in Q1. And although we gain 0.8 of a second on that second flyer, it was only because that first lap was on a scrub set. And it's going to be P10. So P10 in Q2, P10 in Q3. What? What? It is final race in Formula 1. The retiring Fernando Alonso in the Aston Martin is on pole bloody position here in Abu Dhabi. Unbelievable. What a send-off. What a send-off for the Spaniards. Oh, that's quite cool, to be fair. How has he done that, though? Stroll's not in the top 10, so he's just dragged that Aston to pole by nearly 0.3 of a second to Tsunoda. Doohan, P9, doesn't make the most of the Alpine. The two Williams, P7 and 8, so they're going to be close. So it's game on for the Constructors fight, and it's game on at the sharp end. Fernando Alonso on pole.
It's time then for one final race in this year's Formula One World Championship. 2010 saw 4 drivers in contention for the title coming into this race, with Sebastian Vettel prevailing to become the youngest world champion to date. Is there one last sting in the tail awaiting us today? Well, it's time to find out. Here at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, it's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. An immense lap from Fernando Alonso yesterday puts him on pole position, and Yuki Tsunoda completes the front row. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Norris, Alex Albon and Button, Russell, Antonelli, Piastri and Max Verstappen, Doohan, Tremnitz, Esteban Ocon and Gasly, Lawson, Sainz, Lance Stroll and Lewis Hamilton, Hadjar, Bortoletto, Hulkenberg and Ollie Behrman rounds off the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track. And alongside me a man, well, what more can I say? But he's a legend. Anthony Davidson. Here we go then, Ant. Final race of the season. One more dance around the racetrack and plenty of opportunity to show out there that you've still got the quick step.
Yeah, a lot of races to cover these days in Formula One, Crofty, as you well know, doing them all yourself. But it's the same for the drivers. It comes at you thick and fast, and you've got to pace yourself as well to get to this point in the season. If it has gone your way, it's a great time to just enjoy it. There's nothing that can change in the championship pecking order, of course. If you've won the championship already, go out and enjoy this race and send yourself off through the winter break. If it's been a bit of a year to forget, you can try and take a bit of solace in this Grand Prix, end on a high and carry that energy into next season.
Well, if you did watch and pay attention to the grid sequence, you would have seen there was a world of penalties here late on in the last race of the season, and it means Albon is now up to P5. We're up to P6 then. Sainz is back, which might be a big aid to us with one Williams down the order. It means we just have to look to beat Albon in this race if Sainz can't make his way through the traffic. But now with this year's game, it's a possibility in that quick Williams that he actually will be able to recover. So we just have to really try and maximize things. Hope that Tramnitz can maybe play a part. I hope maybe Alpine as well could just help us if they push down Williams. I'd happily finish behind an Alpine if they're pushing down Williams to help us just regain that one position in the Constructors' Championship. Alpine in their own race trying to maybe go for 5th place in the Constructors. Williams trying to keep on to that 5th place, but we'll be hoping to demote them by 2. But either way, you know, whatever happens, it will still be a really successful season, really fun, really energetic first season, I must say. How refreshing has this game been? And I think you guys have been able to tell very much so by the rate of the videos, my enthusiasm in them. It's been a fantastic first season on this game. A lot of promise for the seasons to come, and that we have got a good game to make a great series on. And in terms of the actual in-game performance of this team, I think, you know, we did really well in the first half. It's been tougher in the second half, but in a good way. You know, it's great to see the AI teams coming back at us a little bit and giving me a real challenge. So I really doubt that, unlike previous F1 games, we'll be fighting for a title in that second season. It will take maybe one more season on into season 3 at the rate we're going, you would say, which is going to be an aid, I guess, in terms of, for you guys, it means it's a longer road to glory, I guess. But that means more episodes before we get to that sort of achievement, which will make it seem even better. But right now, the aim is for beating Williams in the Constructors, if we can do, and seeing what's going to happen in this crazy race where, in the final one in 2025, Fernando Alonso is on pole. It's been a whirlwind in-game 2025, and it all comes to this, the end, the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, as we go to 5 red lights, and we are underway. It's a shaky start for Leclerc. He has to come across the block. Norris, it's a good start for us versus Alexander Albon. On the outside we go. Tsunoda's had a good getaway, but Fernando Alonso, the retiring Fernando Alonso, coming back at him to retake first place of this Grand Prix. We're up to P4. It's been a very, very good start, and already you're seeing that McLaren being very lackluster in race conditions as Albon is going to overtake him in the Williams. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. As I said before, the fall off of McLaren needs to be studied in this season. Absolutely is. Tsunoda is really pressurising Alonso, the lead Red Bull, with Verstappen having already wrapped up this Drivers' World Championship, just shutting out in P9. He had a penalty. So what? So what? It's all wrapped up. Even for Ferrari, it's wrapped up in the Constructors. This is all just purely for enjoyment for most of these top teams, and then there is actually something at stake though for us. So I suppose really if this was real life, all the TV coverage would be focusing on this very fight that I'm focusing on. Tramnitz P13, Sainz P15, Williams versus us versus Alpine. And speaking of, Gasly up to P10 then. So Gasly in 2 laps, lap 1 to lap 3, he's gone from, what was it, around P17 to already back in the points. That's really showing how strong that Alpine is, as Albon has overtaken us with DRS. We've lost touch of the top 3 cars, as you expect to. We just don't have that level of performance, but Williams also better than us, and Albon gets us back. But can we try and just stick with him with DRS as Gasly tries to overtake Verstappen, and we do have a chance to re-overtake Albon on the inside into sector 3, going to none ERS, trying to save as much battery as we can for those straights, knowing Williams will come back at us. We've gone wide though. We've gone wide. Albon comes back at us on the outside. We go defensive. We're going to be side by side now through this entire section maybe, as we're going to jockey for position. We're going to be very respectful and give each other just about enough racing room, but Albon ultimately gets us under the hotel section, back up into P4. That was a great little squabble, but unfortunately we've come out as the loser there, and Antonelli and Russell pressurising me in the Mercedes. We need to watch out for that as we try and gain on Albon, and we're going to go for a very, very late lunge, locking up the rear, drifting our way through. It was a bit of a desperate attempt to make the overtake on Albon. It didn't work out. Can we go for the second bite of the cherry though? Thankfully, there's a second DRS zone here. We've not got too much battery to deploy, but we are on hot lap mode. But oh god, the rear end's now stepping out. This is turning into a very messy affair, trying to overtake the Williams car. This car is not completely complying with me on the medium tyres, as we just desperately try and get through on the inside, and we do make it work ultimately, but for how much longer? As oh, he's right back past us. That's how long? Literally a millisecond in the edit, and Albon is back through, and I'm actually going to let Antonelli through on purpose because I'm trying to play a bit of 4D chess, because Kimi Antonelli, he set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. I reckon we could follow Kimi through on Albon, and then kind of he can be my DRS horse to my carriage and pull me along and away from Albon, I'm hoping. Meanwhile, down the road, or further back, sorry, Tramnitz versus Sainz. So this is excellent. Both AAR cars fighting their respective Williams. Tramnitz loses out to Sainz here as well, in the same way I've lost out to Albon, but my plan will hopefully come through. The only problem is, the only annoying part of this plan is Gasly is right behind me, so he might just defeat this because he's going to look to overtake me. And of course, that Alpine is very, very quick, as we're making it 3 wide now, apparently, as Kimi gets all caught up on the curb. We've actually re-overtaken the Mercedes, and through goes Pierre Gasly up to P5. P17 to P5 in 6 laps. Yeah, this Alpine is unreal. If they carry this pace over into Season 2, we're going to have a very interesting and very different looking 2026 in-game, aren't we? As Albon's getting away now. So our plan's backfired. Our plan's backfired because now we've been held up fighting Gasly, fighting Antonelli again. And so that is a worrying sign for us, as Alonso has lost first place. Tsunoda into first. To be fair, I was very surprised at Alonso getting the pole. I was going to be very surprised if Alonso even stayed in the top 3. I think there's still going to be plenty of movement going on in the top 5 because Gasly, at the rate he's going, I think he's still gunning and aiming for a podium here. And ironically, actually, after all of that, Gasly's the one giving me DRS to pull me along. I've pushed away from Verstappen and Antonelli, who are squabbling, and Gasly will be the one to overtake Albon, and I may just close back up to Albon this way. So thank you very much, Gasly, for helping us out. Kimi was of no use to us. Looks like he's fallen off the cliff. He's behind Russell as it's a very shaky rear end. We nearly put that on the wall there, as the tyre wear is definitely kicking on the mediums now, as Albon gets back past Gasly though. Albon's really doing quite well, as I'm really struggling for rear end grip now. You can see that icon on the right hand side, orange. These mediums are really shot. It is a projected 2-stop here around Abu Dhabi, and it's feeling like it for sure right now as Verstappen overtakes us again. We're not kind of, trying to put up too much of a fight because he's in a much quicker car. But I keep saying this, they're not really overtaking Albon either, though, or are hurting him enough with the fighting. So I'm just kind of accepting my fate at the moment, hoping that coming in on the off these mediums onto hard earlier will be the play. Because we come in on lap 10, Albon continues, Alonso's come in. So I'm hoping that, Alonso knows what he's doing. He's coming a bit earlier, looking for the undercut. Hopefully our undercut can work as well as we go on to a set of, this will be hard tyres, is the same as Alonso. And the 2-stop here is actually a medium to 2 sets of hards, would you believe? So that's how abrasive the Abu Dhabi track surface appears to be on this year's game. A 2-stop on hards. I'm just hoping these hard tyres have a good amount of pace. So we're about to find out as we use battery on the exit and push away and try and do the best outlap we can to gain on Albon and gain that track position on Williams. And, well, lap 14, we set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. So there is some real good pace on the hards, and I must say this car felt night and day so much better on this compounded tyre. So I think the mediums were just a horrible race tyre, and this is the tyre to be on. I feel quick now for the first time in this race. So let's get on and do some work as we watch Alonso going round the outside of Hamilton, who is struggling on those mediums. I think he's yet to pit. Oh, Antonelli retiring, going slow. Maybe that's why he fell off the cliff. As Hamilton, no, he's not slow because of tyre wear. He's slow because he had damage. The front right of his wing was off. It won't matter for him, to be honest, because Ferrari have already got the championship, the Constructors' Championship, so it's just an unfortunate way to end the season. But for me, that's big. It's a free position on Hamilton. It's a free position on Antonelli. This is all aiding us, as now all of a sudden, lap 15, myself and Alonso are 1 and 2. Unreal. We have both made an undercut, but oh, Tsunoda's come and ruined it. Okay, I mean, we were 1 and 2. We are going to try and remake it 1 and 2, but that's a huge undercut. Albon is nowhere to be seen at the moment, so that was really good call. A really good call from us to come in that early. And now all of a sudden we're fighting for first as we close up to Alonso. We get the DRS overtake here. Alonso comes back at us a little bit. Easy does it on the outside, but surely Tsunoda's tyres are still a bit cold here on the exit, and we get a good run on him. We might be in first place all of a sudden. I mean, JB as an AI got first place momentarily in Vegas last episode, and now here we are driving as Button into first place of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. The thing is, though, we're definitely on a 2-stop. I think Alonso is as well. But I think with how far those guys went on medium, Tsunoda, Leclerc, Gasly, Verstappen, I think they may be on a 1-stop. So they're not really in our race. We're not in the race for first. We're in the race versus Albon, P11, Sainz, P16 even, because those guys, if they're doing a 1-stop, we'll end up being behind them in terms of on-track position. So we need to push really hard and try and make the most of this hard tyre stint. The problem is Tsunoda is really quick right now on fresher hard tyres, and he gets past this. Alonso behind, also not too far off. We try and come back at Tsunoda as we re-overtake him, squeeze him out. We try to squeeze him out, but Tsunoda, again, The AI impressing, keeping their foot in. He comes back at us. Alonso as well. All of a sudden, it's 3 wide. And all of a sudden, the wily old fox, Fernando Alonso's retaking the lead of this Grand Prix back into first place as Tsunoda loses 2 positions in one part of the circuit. He comes back at us now on the outside, but we maintain second place. But this is... it's not the best second stint now. The initial first couple of laps there, you know, when we first pit, really great. But now, the last 2-3 laps, we've been held up a little bit by Tsunoda. The pace hasn't been that great for me and Alonso. And Sainz and Albon are coming back towards us. You know, they will be back towards us once we make that second stop as... now Gasly's coming through. I mean, this is so impressive, though, from Gasly and Alpine. He's just made a double pass on me and Tsunoda, and he's nearly gone for a third overtake immediately on Fernando Alonso. He will surely get Alonso now here into the last sector. This is Gasly overtaking 1 car per lap on average, because he was P17, wasn't he? Or at least that's where he was when he got knocked out in quali, and now he's into first place. That Alpine is actually a rocket ship at the moment, as me and Alonso dive into the pits, as I suspected. Tsunoda, Leclerc, Verstappen, they all continue. They're all on the 1 stop. So the top 4 on 1 stops, maybe top 5 if Russell carries on, but me and Alonso in for a second set of hards. I don't know about Albon, though. He's P8. Where is Sainz as well? Many question marks. A lot of question marks. It's a good pit stop for us. We almost jump Alonso there. He goes through us, and then for some reason, he's slow as a turtle on the exit of this pit lane. And Alonso doesn't do us a favour there, as we just narrowly are going to get it ahead of doing on track. But we're at P9, Alonso P8. Sainz is ahead of us, and Albon. So both Williams are ahead of us, but they're going to the end. So we've got much fresher hards. It's now down to us. It's in our hands to chase after the Williams, overtake them, and then, well, I'm hoping Alonso can overtake them as well and push them down the order. And then we'll kind of see where we are with the mathematics at the end with the constructors' standings. But Gasly leading. I think Alpine have a very good chance of getting that P5, you know, in the Constructors' Championship. That would be crazy. Alpine skyrocketing from P7 to P5 in the matter of a couple of races at the end of 2025, as Russell's P5 then in no man's land, kind of, you know, somewhat being chased down by the Williams, but not really. Obviously, Gasly's leading from Tsunoda, Leclerc, Verstappen P4, the new world champion of 2025, and me and Alonso in tandem trying to chase down the Williams. The Williams themselves, though, maybe having a squabble. Sainz sizing up a move on Albon as we size up a move on Fernando Alonso, as I was here initially looking to stick behind Alonso. You see there, let off on throttle on purpose, but with that lockup and with Sainz overtaking Albon, I'm sniffing that Albon's a bit slow and a bit vulnerable, and we need to make a move on Alonso. I can't count on Alonso to drag us along. I actually think I have more pace than Alonso at this stage of the race. So we overtake Alonso with ease and now set our sights on Albon. And I was correct. Albon is struggling versus Sainz. You know, he's nearly 2 seconds down the road now, so Sainz clearly the quicker man, and Albon is there for the taking as we go to the left. Albon squeezes us towards the barrier. We give him a squeeze back. We get up into P7 and immediately now locking in to chase after Carlos Sainz and praying that Fernando Alonso can do us a favour and overtake Albon. Lap 23. We've only got 6 laps to go. We're going for the move on Sainz on the inside, and Alonso behind, I think, is overtaking Albon. We are going far too deep, though. We've overcooked it into the chicane. We had to get very aggressive on the defence to repass Sainz for a moment there. But this was the replay at the same time as that fight. Thank you, Alonso. He has done us a favour. He's overtaken Albon. He's up into P8, but honestly, if I do quick maths in my head, I think we need Alonso to overtake Sainz, you know. And I think we need to try and chase after Russell. I think it's still not enough, you know. The cards are all stacked against us, unfortunately, today, as Verstappen tries to make it a double Red Bull podium to end off the year strong. Leclerc, I mean, P4, it doesn't matter. Ferrari have got the constructors. It really does not matter for them. For Gasly, it matters to try and get a second win of the season, obviously. In this one, a really emphatic recovery. Meanwhile, his teammate, though, is just barely hanging on to the top 10. Stroll might overtake him. I mean, I need one of those guys to overtake Albon. I need Stroll or Doohan to stop fighting each other and get Albon. I need Alonso to get Sainz, and I need to get Russell. So as you can tell, yeah, we're really up against it. It's going to take a miracle for us to maybe overturn this constructors fight and get that P6 back as we make the move on Russell, who's been struggling, and we've all caught him up. Sainz, Alonso following me along with DRS, unfortunately for me, but I don't know, it might be to our aid. If Russell can slow Sainz down enough where Alonso can make a move, that could work for us, but no, the opposite is happening. No, Sainz making an excellent move around the outside of the Mercedes, the customer team, overtaking the works outfit. Williams on the inside. Sainz actually is going to get this to P6. Russell comes back at him into the hotel section, though. The two of them now once again banging tyres side by side. An incredible fight on the second last lap of this Grand Prix. Russell's trying his hardest. Come on, man, come on, stay ahead, stay ahead. No, I think Sainz may just have enough as we come on all of a sudden to the last lap of this Grand Prix and this first season on F1 25, and I am praying, but no, Sainz maintains P6. Russell's down to 7th. I think the dream's gone, chaps. I think we can't get P6 in the constructors. We're going to have to settle for P7, which in a way is kind of GG's. Like, it shows, honestly, the AI have been really great this season. They've given me a thorough challenge. It's not been easy. We haven't just walked to where we are, and we were a lot higher, and we've been done by Alpine. We've been done by Williams, and well, Alpine have done absolutely everyone in these last two races, because even though it's Max Verstappen who is the Drivers' World Champion, Ferrari the Constructors' Champion from last episode, Pierre Gasly will be the biggest name to end the season with 2 wins in a row. Vegas to Abu Dhabi. Pierre Gasly ends the 2025 season on a high. Absolutely what? Oh my god! What the hell did I just watch? What the hell did I just witness? That was the funniest and most mental end to a race ever. 2025 has quite literally gone out with a bang. Tsunoda has crashed into Gasly across the line and flipped upside down. What the? Oh wow, what a way to end season 1, huh? Oh, that is I enjoyed that. That was that's a great way to end the season.
Wow, there it is, mate. The checkered flag, and the checkered flag on the season as well. And what a season it's been. We've had our ups and downs, but you know what? I've really enjoyed working with you, and I hope we can do it again. Nice one, mate. See you back at the pits.
Sacre bleu! Pierre Gasly has destroyed the opposition. Pierre Gasly wins.
Well, great victory today for the final race of the season, and you take that energy with you through the end of the year, through the winter break, and it's important because your team lives off of that. You want them to deliver you the best possible car for the start of next season's campaign.
As Anthony Davidson said, yeah, I think if Alpine and Gasly can maintain their performance, we're about to have an insane start to Season 2. A very, very unique start to Season 2. 2026, where it all changes. Aero and engine regulation change. But this season goes to Max Verstappen as the Drivers' Champion. And Ferrari, GG's to them, to be honest. They were really strong in the middle, and they got the job done. Their first constructors after so many years. 90 points ahead. It's a convincing constructors win for them. And look at Alpine. Alpine did so well. With Gasly's 2 wins, Alpine overtook Mercedes. That is embarrassing for the Silver Arrows. There are going to be some serious debriefs for Mercedes. They are slipping down to P5. They still narrowly lost to Williams. I mean, the fact that we and Williams are so close to Merc is shameful for them. And Alpine grabbed P4. crazy, crazy stuff. We unfortunately have to settle for P7 in the Constructors, but it's still been such a great first season. Obviously, like I said, thoroughly have enjoyed the AI. We get an accolade for completing our season, increased fan rating, and, well, you guys don't know what the contract situation is like for any of our drivers. Well, I'm going to leave you waiting till the pre-season episode in a couple of days' time, guys, for Season 2. But if you have enjoyed this one, nay, the entirety of this first season on F1 25, My Team Career Mode, be sure to hit the like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you're around here, then do get subscribed for weekly Formula 1 content. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.